Hello, and welcome to episode number 59 of WrestleRotica, the podcast that combines wrestling with erotica. This week we have one story to share with you. The story is entitled Hardcore Touchdown. Mickie James is making her only appearance ever at a Chikara event. It is National Pro Wrestling Day, and things aren't working out the best for her. In what she considers an upset, she was defeated by Chikara Grand Champion Kimber Lee. Mickie is so frustrated that she needs to blow off some steam in her own special way. Luckily for her, she encounters Mark Anglosetti, otherwise known as Mr. Touchdown, who is willing to help Mickie with this. Without further ado, let's get to this week's story. This story is entitled Hardcore Touchdown, and it was written by Dax G 2001. Chikara National Pro Wrestling Day 2016 on February 6, 2016.
Hi there, I'm Princess Kimber Lee, and on February 6th, I want to show the world the positive power of professional wrestling.
In Reading, Pennsylvania. Moments after suffering what many in the wrestling world would consider an upset loss to the reigning Chikara Grand Champion Kimber Lee, a furious Mickie James has stormed backstage. Still in her form-fitting and showing off ring attire of cut-off white Daisy Duke-like white jean shorts that hug to her thick and juicy backside, and a custom-cut black merchandise t-shirt with her logo on the front that strains slightly against her large breast. "Are you kidding me?" she rants, passing by some of the colorful characters of the family-friendly promotion in her fury. Similar to her arrogant and rule-bending actions in the ring, had turned the crowd against her. That nobody they call a champion beat me?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
It's bad enough that referee tried to make the match all about him, instead of doing the job he was supposed to do. Mickie vents as she turns a corner, looking to head back to the locker room and leave the show as soon as possible. Sounds like someone underestimated Princess Kimber Lee. The voice of Chikara star Mark Anglosetti, also known as Mr. Touchdown,
They always call him Mr. Touchdown. They always call him Mr. Speed. He can run and kick and throw.
catches her attention as he's leaning back against the wall, clad in his wrestling attire of professional football-style boots and pants, and a blue Chikara logo t-shirt, on that fits nicely to his muscular frame. Don't take it too badly. Plenty of people have done that. She's the grand champion for a reason, I'll admit. Excuse me! Mickie snaps, coming to stop to glare at him. She got lucky out there. If that referee wasn't such a pathetic piece of spotlight-stealing trash, I would have easily finished off your so-called champion. Do you know who I am? You! She gives him a look over. Some wannabe football jock? Great. There's farm animals and freaks all around here. And now draft pick rejects? First off, the name is Mr. Touchdown, Mark states as he points to himself. Don't get me mixed up with the rest of those nerds out there, or around the locker room here. Hey, if you've had a bad time, I can relate to that. Even after I won out there earlier on. Try talking some sense into my knucklehead of a former partner, and you'll see what kind of mood I'm in. Mr. Touchdown, huh? James raises an eyebrow. And you're what it takes to win it round here, huh? At least you're not half bad to look at, compared to some of the things I've seen on this show so far. She says arrogantly, before she presses her lips together, giving him another look over. Sounds to me like you think you're hot stuff as well. What can I say? I'm a winner. He brags with a cocky smile. Former Young Lions champion. former Campeón de Parejas. I'm one of the best things that Chikara has. Even if my former teammates can't see that. That's so, huh? She smirks for a moment, approving the attitude from the young hunk. Tell you what then, Mr. Touchdown. I need to blow off some serious steam. And since this place is so family friendly out in the open, I need to do something that's going to require a whole lot of privacy. Maybe we can see if Mr. Touchdown can, to maybe use terms you'd understand, make a play the game with me. And nowhere near any playing field. Seriously! He questions for a moment, but seeing the way she's checking him out, he grins. Oh, I'm down for this kind of play. Besides, the finals of the cup are going to take place, so everyone around here will be watching that. Grab a locker room you like, and we can do this. Mark stays eagerly. Good to hear it, she smirks. Let's hope you aren't just all talk, because after the crap out there in the ring, I need to get seriously hardcore. And I ain't talking hardcore country. Moments later, inside of the changing area, set aside for the female competitors on the show, Mickie James watches as the hunky Mr. Touchdown lowers his shorts. Her eyes widening in surprise as she sees the thick and lengthy cock hanging between his legs. Looks like this hasn't been a waste of time after all, Mickie comments, already licking her lips a little as she eagerly steps forward, slipping down to her knees in front of him and barely giving him time to step out of his clothing before she takes a hold of him and starts to stroke him off. I could say the same thing, Angela Lucetti states, smirking with a grin as the gorgeous female wrestler is running her hand back and forth along his hardening cock, pausing only to spit onto her palm, and then go right back to jerking him off. Ah! Except my day's going from great to awesome, he adds, taking the moment to pull his shirt up and over his head, to show off his nicely muscular and defined upper body, so he's left in just his pro football style boots. That's because you've got the greatest female wrestler of all time about to suck you off, right?
Oh yeah!
She smirks back for a moment before bringing her head down closer to his meat, running her tongue across the crown with a slow, testing lick all over the very top, before making it a swirling motion around him. All the while, she keeps that hand working over the shaft, easily getting him nice and stiff, and letting her see what kind of a member she's dealing with here. And from her sinful grin, she clearly likes what she sees. Try not to blow your load right away, kid, she arrogantly says as she wastes her time in getting down to business, taking his dick into her mouth and wrapping her pouty lips right around him, already starting to rock her head onto him at quite an aggressive, needy pace. As she looks to vent her frustrations through some vigorous, to put it mildly, oral action. You ain't got, nothing to worry about there, legend. The stud she's sucking off boasts back, letting out a moan as he watches that pretty face moving swiftly back and forth along his pole, feeling just how damp and soothing her mouth is as she smoothly takes him in and out of that hungry hole. With all of the chumps and nerds around here, you won't find a better stud than right here, he adds, groaning as he feels those full lips gliding across his length, the occasional flick of her tongue against his underside as she works him over, still keeping a hand around the base to also deliver the odd pump for good measure. Despite the swiftness of her motion, it's soon apparent that indeed he's no minute man and can handle this kind of a steamy blowjob. And knowing she's in for a good, long time with him, she groans to herself around his cock as she rather loudly slurps away on him. The former WWE Diva and TNA Knockout lets out muffled moans as she briskly bobs her long-haired head along the dick of the Chikara star, her lust increasing with each suck she delivers onto him as she gradually pushes her face further down onto that rod. As she blows him with this steady and deepening pace, her free hand goes under him, cupping his ball sack and giving a squeeze that causes him to groan. Her eyes narrowing to again show her desire now for this hunk as she continues to suck him off, showing off her experienced tricks as she fondles his nuts at the same time. Ah! Trying to throw me off, huh? He groans, still able to smirk down at the beauty kneeling before him, even as she works over both parts of his manhood, rolling his balls in her palms, while letting her lips slurp loudly over his dick, as she gets him nice and wet with a generous covering of her spit. You clearly, don't know me if you think this is, gonna stop me. The former holder of the young lion's cup boasts between moans, although if anything else, him not finishing early is more about enjoying as much pleasure for as long as possible from her, rather than define her and the top-notch cocksucking she's delivering here, especially as it's gotten his dick deep inside her hot and clearly talented mouth, her groans bouncing off his cock as she takes him quickly in and out of her mouth, causing her spit to drool off from not just her own chin, but off of that fat rod as well. She mumbles around his tool again, staring up at the younger stud as she delivers another swift round of bobs deep along his sides to both of their groaning approval, taking him in deep but never gagging for a moment, and yet still leaving his dick a sloppy mess from all of her spit that's covering him. Giving his balls another teasing grope, she lifts the hand away so she can focus on slurping loudly onto his dick, finding herself closing her eyes with a muffled moan as she rocks her head onto that shaft for several moments, finishing off the round by pausing at the crown so she can twist her head from side to side, grinding those big lips against his belt in the process. Opening her eyes, she lifts her head away with a gasp, licking her lips clean of her own spit, as she looks over the dick she'd just been sucking off. Not bad! Not bad at all, kid! She says with a smirk, moving so she can stand up again. You've at least earned a shot at showing me what you can do, she says, reaching down so she can undo her belt, followed by sliding those tight booty shorts down her tanned legs. Earn, huh? But his attention is more on our juicy looking and already looking deliciously slick pussy as she reveals herself to him. Sounds like someone still doubts what I can bring to the field. Maybe, James teases as she steps out of them, turning and moving over to the nearest wall as she places her hands on it, assuming the position with spread legs and her stunning ass sticking out towards him. Maybe I'm just giving you a little motivation, she adds, flipping her hair back and looking over her shoulder with a lusty grin at him, proving more of that motivation with the seductive sway of that ass. It's damn well working, but I'm guessing you figured that out, Mr. Touchdown states as he steps up, guiding his cock into her pussy from behind and making them both moan as his thick inches invade her tight snatch. But the first thrust already enough to work his inches into her. Shit! I don't need, any more motivation than this, he comments with a smirk, gripping her rounded hips as he starts to thrust himself in and out of her twat, not needing long at all before he's broken into a steady rhythm so he can bang her. As he moans, he's got a perfect view of looking straight down at her big booty and his cock as it vanishes forward into her. before smoothly moving back out until just the crown and an inch or so is still inside her, before the motion is repeated, again and again. Fucking right you don't. Give me that dick, baby. She groans out, already her head tilted back with approval, as she enjoys feeling his dick stretch out her snug hole, as he works himself just that little bit deeper into her with every nicely forceful thrust that he delivers into her. Once again seeing that he can give as well as receive when it comes to some erotic action. I thought this place, was super PG. Bad words like that are gonna, get you in trouble, kid. She teases, as she takes that big cock straight into her deafening pussy from behind, enjoying some extremely far from that the promotion she just worked for earlier on is known for. Despite the loss earlier on, the former sports entertainment star is getting plenty of reason to grin and groan as she looks back, watching the muscular stud thrust his dick deeply up into her wet snatch, and already starting to make her rock forward a little every time that the shaft is delivered into her. Like you're being an innocent angel yourself there, Mickey. The former tag team champion responds, finding it hard to tear his gaze away from the gorgeous, rounded ass of the former WWE Women's and Divas Champion, as those cheeks start to sexily jiggle, as he applies more force into his thrust, as well as pushing in deeper into that still, pleasurably snug pussy. Considering you've got a husband and all, he points out, as indeed, for a woman happily married to another man, she's openly moaning out, as she takes this young hunk's dick deep into her wet pussy, all the while lustfully gazing back at the still, semi-clothed beauty takes the steady and stiff pumping that's keeping them both groaning out in delight, as she gets stuffed full with his big dick, and he fills her pussy walls, still snugly grinding all around that rod. I could tell you were, fuck, a bad boy when I saw you.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Dottie. A rebel.
James states with another smirk and a groan back, having to grit her teeth as she feels his waist starting to smack into her thick ass, causing her to more forcefully jolt forward towards the wall she's leaning against. More importantly for her lusty state, she's also being willingly made moan out more as her pleasure increases, as he fits even more of that wonderfully into her needy snatch, starting to go balls deep into the curvy mill, who has been a special guest star at his home promotion earlier on. Oh yeah! Fuck me good, babe! I bet, you don't get a woman like me around here. If even at all. She's still able to arrogantly boast as she takes this fucking from behind, a slapping sound now ringing out rhythmically, along with both of their moans, each time he drives in and sends all that cock deep into her wet snatch, before swiftly pulling a few inches back, and then going straight back into her. Hey! Hey! I do alright with chicks and broads, that hang around here. The stud formerly of the Throwbacks tag team says between groans, still delivering the firmly paced thrusting motion with machine-like precision. His hips rocking back and forth again and again as he connects with her tan and curvaceous frame, as he sinks in every inch of his pull into that wet and snug hole of the veteran sports entertainer, keeping herself bent over in front of him so she can take all that cock into her still needy hole. Shit! I used to have a majorette as arm candy for a while. He adds, easing up on his thrust so she can switch things up, giving another deep pump, but instead keeping his dick inside of her, so she can really feel herself getting stuffed by all that cock. And in response, she grinds her wet snatch back against him, her ass jiggling in delightful fashion. As a result, as both of them groan in joy. This is one unique place. I'll give you that, Mickey says, sighing, as she feels her pussy becoming empty, as the hunk behind her pulls out. With all these sports acts, animals, and that stinking princess, she adds, gritting her teeth at the bad memory of the loss earlier. Still hung up on that? How about I help you forget all about it? Anglo-Seti offers with a smirk, looking around and spotting a folding chair that he sets up so he can sit down on it. Thinking like that? You're gonna go far, kid. James smirks, taking the opportunity to remove her top, letting her massive rounded tits bounce free as she moves over towards him, quickly mounting him.
I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong.
And smirking as just as eagerly, he's lining up his dick with her snatch. Damn right I am. Ah, shit. The stud, who has already impressively been the Young Lions Cup holder and a Campeón de Parejas in Chikara, groans, as he once again feels his stick going up deep into the fantastic filling snatch of the only woman to have been the WWE Women's, WWE Divas, and TNA Knockouts champion. Likewise, she's moaning out as well,
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
as she doesn't stop sinking down until she's bottomed out onto him, gripping onto his broad shoulders as she starts to bounce her stunning body sharply up and down onto his big cock. Ah, fuck! Yeah! Fuck, that's good! He moans, his hands moving around to grab onto her thick and sexy ass as she rides him, those cheeks jiggling even within his grip and her long brunette hair swaying from the energetic motion the former diva, once known for being overly hyperactive, is using to work over his big dick that's deep inside her. Ah! Good! Come on, kid! I'm fucking better than just good! The busty MILF states with a smirk, her big tits rubbing and grinding against his nicely defined chest, as she raises and lowers her snatch right down into his crotch. Smacking sounds ringing out once again, when she drops herself down to take every fat inch of his man-meat into her moist twat. The gorgeous female wrestler now sweating harder than she had been during the match she had earlier on. Oh! Come on, Mr. Touchdown! Say it! Ah, shit! Say this pussy! It's the fucking best you've ever had!
This is the best pussy I've ever had.
She lustfully demands with a just as saucy grin, tossing her hair back to further put on a show as she perfectly uses her tanned and curvy frame to handle his member, letting her frame drop down sharply with a slap to take him in balls deep before lifting upward to the halfway mark just to repeat the motion over and over again to both of their sinful, moaning delight. Ah, fuck! Sure! Ah! Compared to majorettes and punk rock ragdolls, he groans out, a nice layer of sweat now also forming over his desirable body, as he's also getting a workout just from taking this rather wild but very enjoyable pace of fucking. The best view of all, as he has the former WWE Diva and TNA Knockout right on his lap, bouncing away on his dick that's already been deep in her mouth, and stuffing up into her snatch over the course of this erotic encounter. Ah! You fucking make the MVP of the game, hands down. Shit. Compared to those chicks, the handsome indie wrestler says, wisely telling the arrogant but beautiful former sports entertainment everything she wants to hear, and in return keeping her bouncing away at such a forceful and quick pace that shows, despite being a wife, a mother, and a longtime veteran of wrestling, she can easily keep up with the younger studs of the scene today.
Oh yeah!
As she makes him moan out with every motion she uses onto his cock. Ah! Yeah! Damn right! Ah! I'm the fucking best! She gasps, dropping herself down onto his dick in order to catch her breath, but keeping him enjoying the moment as she rocks her hips back and forth to grind her dripping slit down against his crotch. More than enough to make them both groan out from the sensations. Reaching back, she takes a hold of his wrist, giving a hint of her plans. As she moves his hands from off of her butt to up onto her larger tits, and happily groans the moment he takes the offer and squeezes them, in turn setting her off as she begins bouncing away once again onto him. Oh, fuck! Oh, yes! 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 The woman once known as Hardcore Country moans out, showing off a kind of hardcore more suited for a professional porn star than anything to do with pro wrestling. But the same can also be said for the stud underneath her, as he too moans out and takes the ride of his life from the stunning, horny grappler mounted onto his prick. Oh yeah! Shit! That's damn good! Mr. Touchdown moans his approval, all too happy to let the horny, multi-time champion in sports entertainment do all the work, as she continues to rapidly and forcefully ride his dick, all the while allowing him to take advantage of this position, as he gropes and squeezes on her large and juicy tits, right in front of him. Ah! I doubt any of those nerds out there, or any of my ex-teammates would ever be able to handle anything like this. He adds between grunts, the former tag team and tournament winner in Chikara, showing off his own great sexual talents, too able to take this onslaught of bounces from the former WWE diva who keeps on swiftly lifting and dropping her still, nicely tight, but soaking wet pussy onto his thick and long cock. From the looks of some of the wrestlers I've seen today, I'll believe you, kid, Mickey says with a groan and a smirk, putting her riding motion to a stop so she can dismount him. Since you're a football guy, I don't think I have to ask this, but think you can handle a tight end? She says, not exactly hiding her plans, as she goes over to her bags, deliberately bending over and showing off her thick backside, as she picked out a bottle of lube from it. Sounds like just another play that I'll be able to score with.
This is it, Beavis. We're finally gonna score.
Mark replies with a grin, as he soon moves over towards her, just as she's getting into the classic doggy-style-like position on the locker room floor. I fucking hope so, James says, pouring lube out onto her fingers before she reaches back, pushing a finger into her asshole, and just that's enough to make herself groan, her cries continuing as she pumps that digit in and out of herself in such a shameless way that it's already clear this isn't the first time she's lubed up her back passage in preparation for some backdoor action. As she sinks the second finger into herself, she smirks at the stud she's been hanging with as he helps himself to the bottle, smirking back as he uses his hand to rub a generous amount of the liquid over his lengthy rod, moving back around her in order to kneel down behind, just watching her finger fuck her own backside for a round of moments as she gets herself more than ready for him. Yeah! Never seen an ass as damn fine as this one, the former Chikara Young Lions Cup holder states, pressing his dick against her asshole as soon as she pulls her fingers out of herself, using a forceful thrust to penetrate that stunning ass, and making them both moan out from the sensation. Oh, fuck! And never ask, fucking good either. He grunts, both hands gripping onto those juicy, rear cheeks, as he starts to ease himself in and out of her tightest of holes. His words showing that perhaps he might not be a stranger himself to tapping some ass, but he's never been faced with the sexual challenge of handling perhaps the thickest, roundest, and hottest ass in pro wrestling history. Ah! Oh yeah! Fuck me! Fuck my ass! The stunning MILF begs, despite already getting just that, as the young hunk behind her works his fat and long cock in and out of her super tight asshole. Completing the trilogy of having been in all three of her equally fuckable holes. But the best has been saved for last, as he now pumps his dick firmly and smoothly into her booty. Booty! Come on! Fucking, fucking wreck my fine fucking ass! She demands, gritting her teeth as she looks back at him, starting now to rock herself back and forth in time with this thrust, as in her horny state, she can't wait to take more of his inches into her ass. Of course, he's more than happy to deliver just that, grunting himself as he pumps his manhood into that massive backside, his fingers easily digging into the tanned and ample flesh of her made-to-be-fucked rump. And those thrusts are certainly having the desired effect on her, as she slips a hand down between her legs to start to rub her already dripping wet snatch. Fuck yeah! Shit! Oh, fuck! Anglo Steady groans, sweat dripping down his handsome face, as he pumps away into that one-of-a-kind backside in front of him, picking up the pace gradually as his cock plunges in deeper, and he feels her ass being able to take more of what he has to offer. His hands roam over that butt, watching the flesh sexually shake, and jiggle both from the force of his thrust deep into her asshole, and her own motion of rocking back in order to take those pumps. As he banks her from behind, he lifts away a hand for just a moment, soon sharply bringing it down onto her cheek, and the spank just makes her moan out, a dirty grin shot back at him over the shoulder, before she goes back to letting out a stream of moans, and this sort of R-rated language that certainly would never be allowed inside the confines of the family-friendly ring she'd been competing in earlier on. Oh, fuck! Fuck! The stunning, sweating beauty, who is the only female to have held both the Women's and Divas Championship in WWE and the TNA Knockouts Championship, is putting on a performance worthy of winning several titles at a pornography award show, as she shifts herself back and forth in time with the stiff thrust being sent deep into her thick ass, causing her large tits to sway as they hang underneath her. She's furiously rubbing her own snatch with her hand, drenching her fingers in her fluids, and keeping herself loudly moaning out in a display that's far removed from her near-legendary status as a respected female wrestler. Fuck! Shit! The younger hunk continues to make a far more than just impressive display of his own, as he gives the lusty, happily married to another man, curvaceous MILF, the kind of fucking that she and that fantastic, massive booty of hers deserves. With thrust after deep, swift, and forceful thrust, straight between those rounded and tan cheeks. Fuck! The former tag team champion in Chikara grunts, his cock throbbing for the first telltale sign deep within her tight back passage, but he doesn't yet plan on easing up or pulling out, still hamming back and forth into that booty of the multi-time former champion in TNA and WWE, more so for his own sinful pleasure than that of the woman on her hand and knees in front of him, as she's wildly toying with her own wet snatch, while getting fucked up the ass. Oh fuck! Oh shit! Don't stop! Fuck! She moans out as her head drops down, her hand still feverishly working over her pussy that starts to leak out juices. As Mickie James makes herself come hard, more than aided along by the fat cock of Mr. Touchdown, ramming into her ass as she rubs herself. Her fluids nastily dripping off her fingers, hand, and wrist, along with from her snatch down to the floor that's already got more than a clear sign of what's been happening from the amount of sweat that's on the ground. Ah! Ah! She gasped out, her rocking motion having stopped, and Hal just made to jolt forward, as the stud behind her enjoys her butt for a couple more thrusts, actually helping to finish herself off as that soaked with juices hand keeps on moving over herself for those last few moans, all in all leaving a big, satisfied smile on her sweat-coated face. Shit! In rather timely fashion, Mark Iglosetti himself has to pull out of that fine and now well-fucked ass, just gripping his throbbing dick and stroking himself off as he starts to come, sending his thick spunk down onto the very backside he'd just been so deep in, feeling the sensation of hot jizz landing across her tanned and rounded cheeks. She looks back with an approving grin as the groaning hunk drains his balls, pumping away at his shaft in order to send streaks of cum across both sides of her rump, enough to even drip off of her and land down to further make a mess on the floor. That was a real good fuck, kid, Mickie says, still watching him, as he flicks out the final drops of cum onto her butt. Do me a favor and grab me a towel so I can clean up this mess you've made, she adds as he lets go of his now spent and softening cock. After all, sure, the least I can do, Mark says with a smirk as he shifts back. One hell of a way to cap off your only appearance around here, I guess. You make it sound like today's over, she smirks, licking her lips. Unless you've got plans for after the show. Considering how my former partner refused to listen to me earlier on, I sure don't. Especially now, he says, coming back over with a towel as requested. Good answer, kid. James nods her head, taking the towel. Because it looks like that, while you're the only one who calls himself Mr. Touchdown, I'm the one who scored the winner today. The end. Thank you for listening to episode number 59 of WrestleRotica. We hope that you enjoyed this week's story. If you enjoyed this week's story, please be sure to like and review us on iTunes. Visit us elsewhere online including Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and as always, our official website, WrestleRoticapod.com. Thank you and have a good week.